Steve, I don't say this very often, but there are some absolute ballers at the wide receiver position for the undefeated Indiana Hoosiers as they come into the national championship game. Elijah Sarratt, Omar Cooper Jr., they are outstanding in their own right, but they're very similar in some traits. We'll get to that. But two very good receivers you have your eye on heading into this national championship game. What's the first thing that jumps out at you? Because this is a show that you wanted to do. You said, I'm watching the film. I want to break down both of these guys. This is going to be a little mini breakdown we're going to do. Make sure you check the big board, check back at it. These guys are going to get inserted onto our big board, which will continue to evolve throughout this draft process. Elijah Sarratt, let's start there. I think he's an interesting player, and I'm kind of curious what you see, Steve, because he's a bigger body guy. What do you think?
He is very interesting because obviously they're in the national championship. They're playing tonight. So I thought it would be great to feature these two guys. Yes, there are other wide receivers who are coming out. There's other sexier wide receivers. But listen, first of all, what are y'all feeding these 18-year-olds? Because over the last couple of years, all these 18-year-olds / freshmen are coming out like grown men, ready to play in the National Football League today. But you can't. You got to be 3 years removed. So we're not going to get excited for something we can never really enjoy yet, okay? So that's why I'm not doing.
That's why we're focused.
We're focused. But these two guys, I want to focus on them because I think this is a job interview. I believe the way they play tonight, if they can display and continue to show what they bring to the table, if you can have a really good turnout against Miami, who defensively is a stud, right? You don't check the box, they're playing Alcorn State. No, Miami is a stud. They get up and press you. They're physical. They're going to hit you going across the middle. They play in zone. They do a lot of variations. And these two guys, they go out there and ball. Let's just say hypothetically somebody goes for 150 and another guy goes for 96 yards, right? Man, the combine, run routes? I don't think so. I'm not running routes. I may run a 40 just so I can get that time, because that's my biggest question mark with Sarratt is, what's his 40 time, right?
He's not a burner.
Yeah. But with the ball in his hands, he can do some magical things, right? So with Sarratt, definitely he is the number one wide receiver. Attacks the ball, understands his role in this offense, lines up in multiple positions. My question is, how fast is he? His routes are really good. He will go up in traffic and go get the ball. I believe he's pro-ready in his route running.
Okay.
I love Miami's going to get up and challenge. And I believe these two young men, it will be fun to watch. For them to go and get their releases. Sarratt got some releases now. He's not a burner, but he has some releases. He's savvy. He picks and chooses when he finishes, right? You know, I love this. An example is he knows, do I dip my shoulder or do I step out of bounds and live for another play? So he shows that he will do both, not run away from contact. Perfect. He uses his hands perfectly on releases and in the route. Some people may say he pushes off a lot. I don't see him. That's selective eye placement for me. He gets pressed up because of his lack of speed. He gets pressed up a lot more than Cooper Jr. But both of these guys are tough to take down.
What they've done with him is they use him. He's a great blocker. They like to run behind him. He is a very physical player in the way that he plays. The way it was described to me by them was he's essentially a power forward. That's the way he plays the position. Now, does he have some wiggle to him? Does he have some ability to make some plays? Certainly. The contested catch, that is his bread and butter. But his superpower, I'm told, his legit superpower is kind of the back shoulder type of stuff. And he actually sent Fernando Mendoza clips of Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers working together on that back shoulder stuff because he knows that's what he's so good at. Is he a great separator? No, he's not. But does he find ways to create some of that separation in a variety of ways with his IQ, with using leverage and change of speeds. All these things he tries to use because it's not actually a strength of his, but the contested catch, certainly a strength. The idea of using him close to the formation, I was told he's a super light version of Puka Nacua. I don't know how many supers I should use, but it's that guy that can block tight to the formation, can do different things. That could be a role that you see him play in the NFL. And the other part is, not sure what his measurables will be at the combine on the turf in Indianapolis, but this run has done wonders for him in terms of the way teams the team's perception of him and how he is viewed. The measurables are a question. The speed is certainly a question, but the way he blocks, the physicality, the contested catches, the way he can play in today's NFL does seem to be a selling point in the eyes of those around the Indiana program. He was a 0-star recruit. I mean, 0 stars. I always look at paths, Steve. You have a unique path. I think your path helps create what your story is. What is, you think, the role of his path? I think it shows like he kind of learned some of these other traits. If you ask around, it's like he's polished, man. He knows how to use leverage. He knows how to play receiver. Is it because of this path that play a part? I got to work, man. I'm a 0-star recruit. I think that plays a role in everything that these teams do in terms of evaluating these players.
It plays a huge role, especially when you go off into the NFL, because some of these players who are drafted, right? Think about this. With the NIL now, there are guys who are making $500,000, $700,000. Some are making $1.5 million as a wide receiver in college and go undrafted. They're not ready for that. That doesn't make any sense.
I was Tuesday. I've been through it.
Like, he hasn't had this huge NIL. He's just like some of us before NIL came out there. It's like, look, man, I want to go to Notre Dame. I want to go to USC. I want to go here. I want to go there. But my options are Utah, Sam Houston, and San Jose, right? So.
Yeah. The other part I wanted to ask you real quick before we move on. 6'2", this guy's got, what we're seeing so much in today's game is these receivers oftentimes playing not just at the boundary, but closer to the formation, Steve. Is that type of receiver the type of guy you can see him being? Because he's used in the slot.
He is used in the slot some. He primarily, I believe, watching the film, he plays X. But he's not the speedster. So that's kind of confusing to me.
That's why I'm asking the question, because like we're seeing some of these guys get tighter to the formation.
But that's where you're releasing and creating the free access really displays what kind of wide receiver he is. And he's not going to be a wide receiver that can run away from you like lightning. But he can technically run away from you and stack and do a lot of variations in his route running that creates a ton of separation that gets him open consistently. And that's what makes him very unique. And that's why this team is going to be extremely dangerous when they play tonight, because they have receivers that know exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Okay, got it. All right, well, let's. We said this is going to be kind of a tight one, so we'll do deeper ones.
Yep.
Remember, check out all of the profiles we're doing heading into this draft on 89 right here. Omar Cooper Jr., I'm looking at the stats here. I mean, they're almost identical to what Elijah Sarratt had. 64 catches, 866 yards. He had 13 touchdowns. Sarratt had 15. I mean, these guys both produce. What do you think about him? He's a little more of a versatile guy, it seems like. What do you see from Omar Cooper Jr.?
Well, when you look at Omar Cooper Jr., the first thing comes up is catches, right? The big catch against Penn State, right? Getting his feet down. That was remarkable. Great body control. But he also had a few other catches as well throughout the year that were amazing. But the first couple of things that really stand out to me is how strong and explosive he is. He breaks a ton of tackles. He lines up in the slot, attacks the football like nobody's business, gets in and out of breaks, drops his weight, not a lot of wasted movement, pretty good releases. Again, pro ready. He knows exactly how to do things. If you go back and watch some of his film, Man, this dude he'll catch a little in route. Somebody hits him, spins, keep going. Strong, man, just runs with unbelievable balance that you just don't normally see. But he does it, and he does it week in and week out. This is going to be a tough task for Miami, not because this team can't tackle. I just believe Cooper and Sarratt bring a different point of view at wide receiver. They're both similar statistically.
Yeah.
But route running, they're totally different, but they finish the same, which is strong, hard to take down, no nonsense, and they get the ball moving forward, north and south. They don't go east and west.
He's more of the five-tool guy. I know it's used in baseball, but he's kind of more the five-tool guy out of the two receivers in terms of all the different things that he can do. He's a little bit more slippery. First guy oftentimes doesn't bring him down. If he does get tangled up with that first kind of would-be tackler, he does always find a way to gain a couple of yards moving forward, and that's always valued in the NFL. That's something I always said about Marvin Harrison Jr. Didn't get super slippery with some of these defensive backs, but always found a way to kind of fall forward at Ohio State, gain a couple of more yards. That's kind of the way Cooper operates a little bit. The body control is something that just, really jumps off the tape for them at Indiana. He does have some run after the catch, but that more, and I'm told, kind of spurns into the body control, the ability to manipulate his body. Obviously, the Penn State catch you brought up, Steve, is a big part of that, and the way that he is able to kind of contort his body to make plays all over the field. He is a guy that loves to compete. He will be very physical. He will block. It's interesting that he was there before Kirk Cignetti got there. He's an Indiana guy. So his willingness to compete in all these different aspects on the football field, yes, a trait that Cignetti likes, but at the same time, it is something that Cooper just always possessed, and it's kind of a part of the way they play receiver. It's a big part of the way he plays the receiver. He might be a little bit more athletic, obviously, in some terms, compared to Sarratt, but at the same time, also there's some similarities with both of their games in terms of the physicality and in terms of the willingness to be a blocker and the willingness to get physical, but maybe a little bit better athlete in the eyes of Indiana. I'm interested to know, and I'm asking this because I don't think I know, is this a product of the type of players that Kirk Cignetti brings in, or is this part of the way the program operates? When you look at the way these guys are kind of wired, right? They're smart, they're physical, they know how to play the position, right? They're what do you? It can be a combination of both. In all honesty, this is the player we're looking for, and we're only going to enhance it. But I see that trait as kind of the way Indiana.
Well, I see that trait as the way Indiana is today.
What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house, it's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action, so when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood. Now available across the US, download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Well, I see that trade as the way Indiana is today. But you and I both know with success and with the expectation of success, you have to continue to bring in these type of athletes. Let's let a little bit more time go. Let's let another year. If they win a national championship or whatever, no matter what happens tonight, let's see what type of receivers do they bring in for us to be able to make a statement and say, hey, these are the type of players that you're getting, right? If you're going to say Indiana is known for, I don't agree necessarily. No. I would say Iowa State has become that smaller.
No, I was saying it's an unknown. That's why.
I'm just throwing it out there. I gotta allow. Let's see after a year of success, who do they bring in? What type of players do they bring in? And then we can start to say, okay, when you talk about Indiana Hoosiers receivers, these are the things that they're going to do. Like Ohio State. Look, Emeka Ibuka, JSN, right? There's a number of guys, Ted Ginn, right? Reggie Germany, David Boston. There's a ton of receivers that have played at Ohio State that there's no question what kind of college player they were. But then there's also like, hey, this is what you can expect from these players based off what they did in college in the NFL. And Ted Ginn he was a speedster in college. When he got drafted, what was he? Still a speedster, right? I'm not saying it's a negative. I'm just pointing out that there is no significant drop-off, meaning, and when they came to the league, you at least knew what they can bring to the table. Now, how consistent, that's up to them.
Steve, I have two questions before we go, and they're both kind of related to the college game and how it translates to the NFL game. The first one I have, honestly, is these guys seem to be, here it is. In the college game, guys are open. Let's be honest. You have a great offense. You are oftentimes open by a lot. How do you judge these guys with the way this offense has been with the Heisman winner at quarterback? Most people believe Fernando Mendoza is going to be the number one pick. Does that change? Does that go into the evaluation? Or are you just watching, when you watch the film, you're watching the route? You're watching them? Or are you making sure that you're either excluding or including the offense as a whole?
I have to include the offense as a whole. I have to include the quarterback, whether it's a good quarterback or bad quarterback, because no matter what your preference or what your mind says or what you prefer from this quarterback, you're like, hey, this quarterback can or can't play. I don't really look at it in that way. I look at, okay, when he ran his route, if he dropped it, why did he drop it? Did he drop it because the corner was draped all over him? It was a PI penalty. They didn't call it. Was it because he got jammed up and couldn't get off the release? Was the ball thrown ahead of him, on his body, or behind him? Right? So all of those things factor into, like, when I'm watching, the how, the why, what I like, what I dislike. There's times I'm watching film right now, and there's certain schools and guys I'm watching, I'm going, quarterback is late. Bad ball placement. That's not the receiver's fault. But then the things that are the receiver's fault is when you're going across the middle and the ball is slightly high and you jump up and it hits your hand and deflects up in the air and that's a pick, that's your fault. Did the quarterback put too much hot sauce on it? Probably. But you already knew that. You knew he was throwing a hot sauce ball, so you should have prepared yourself for that.
Got it. Then the other one I had was contact balance. How much is that? It just popped into my head because I think these guys got it. I'm just saying, how important is that in the NFL compared to?
On these pro days, I hear that sometimes, and I'm going, shut up. Right? Contact balance is just a word we love to use, and it's a fancy word. Man.
Do you stay on your feet?
Yes.
That's what I thought it was.
But here's the thing. And I've seen dudes have great contact balance. They got two left feet, right? Depending on the surface, the pair of shoes, right? So it's if a kid can run a route or he can't, contact balance I could care less about. Right? Oh, he got great contact balance. Hell, he can't catch the ball.
Well, catching is number one. There's just a lot more contact.
I don't really put a lot into contact balance. I look at it more of how many force missed tackles can a guy make? How many times can he run through a tackle? Does he step out of bounds half of the time? Is he afraid to dip his shoulder? Does he go across the middle and duck? Right? There's so many other major factors. Contact balance for me is just it. I let it fall at the bottom of the list that I never get to, unless it's a real problem that he can't fight through contact or he's always tripping or falling out of his breaks.
Okay. Note to self, never bring up contact balance again.